Well, we're now joined by the SNP MSP Joan McAlpine, who will be attending Saturday's pro-independence rally, the political editor of Radio Clyde and Radio Forth, Colin Mackay, and the Conservative activist and pro-unionist, Mark Brown. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Joan, what are you hoping that this event will achieve on Saturday?
Well, I think it'll be a celebration, and it'll be a taster of the breadth of the campaign, the Yes campaign, over the next 2 years, because as your report said, we've got people from all walks of life. It's not just members of the SNP, there'll be Greens there'll be Labour voters for independence, there'll be a wide spectrum of people like lawyers like Amar Anwar and Ruth Wishart. So it'll be a good cross-section of Scottish society, and I think a lot of political campaigning nowadays, we don't march. I'm a veteran of the poll tax marches, and it's a way of getting together with like-minded people, and it puts a lot of energy into the campaign. But the campaign itself over the next 2 years will be one in communities. It will be about people out in communities talking to one another. It won't be about marches, but I'm really looking forward to the celebration.
Colin, how important is this event on Saturday for the Yes campaign?
I don't think it's particularly important for either side, to be honest. I think what you're looking for is, if the Yes campaign, it's not actually organised by the Yes campaign, it's not directly organised by them or the SNP, but I think if the pro-independence side get about 10,000 out there, they'll be delighted with this, because that would be a good turnout for them. Now, I'm picking that as an arbitrary figure, but I think anything less than that would look a bit small, and I think that would give the Unionists an argument that it hasn't really taken off, because basically what this is, and what all these demonstrations are, they're a show of strength. They don't actually deliver anything themselves. So I think what you'll want from the pro-independence side is they'll be wanting to show that they've got a bit of strength. It's also, I think, probably one of the first tests of how things like Twitter and Facebook are good at organising these things, because it hasn't had big mainstream media coverage. So it'll be interesting to see how it does, and interesting to see how many people do turn up.
Joan, 1.5 million an estimated Catalans attended their march on the 11th of September. How many are you hoping for? 10,000? Would you be happy with that?
Well, I'm not one of the organisers.
Roughly, what would you be hoping for? What would be a sign of success?
I have absolutely no idea. I'm just looking forward to going along and kind of celebrating with other people.
5,000?
And I have no idea how many. I'm not involved in the organising, but I know that people are coming from. I know that people are coming from all over Scotland, and I think it's a really important point that Colin made about it being interesting that it's been organised through social media. But the other side of it is that we do a lot of political campaigning through social media.
Joan, how many people turn up, won't it?
I think it'll be a really good turnout. I think that there'll be a lot of family entertainment.
What is a really good turnout?
We don't march all that often now, so I think it's difficult to. It's always difficult to kind of put a figure in these things, because what are you comparing it to?
Well, if you compare it to the strikes last year, you had 10,000 people marching in Glasgow, you had 7,000 people at the same time marching in Edinburgh. That's why I think you've got to be looking at about 10,000 to make it look good.
Mark, a big event on Saturday, but no sign yet of a march or a rally for the Unionists.
No, I think the campaign is taken off in great leaps and bounds, certainly for the Conservative Friends of the Union. Up to 40,000 plus have signed up to our campaign, and that's from members of the party. Non-political members as well have signed up to our campaign and the Better Together campaign too.
But no rallies, no marches, you won't be taken to the streets?
Certainly no plans, as far as I'm aware, for rallies to be undertaken by the Better Together campaign. It's interesting that Joan's not willing to put a figure on it. It could be that there'll be more people will have turned up in George Square last week to boo Alex Salmond at the Olympic parade than there will be in Edinburgh on Saturday.
But at least the fact that they're having this march and rally shows that the campaign is energised and they're getting out there.
Oh, for sure. And I'm not going to sit here and say that they're going out to have a campaign and to have a march. I think it's fantastic that there is the bit of energy in politics. I think that should be applauded. However, I do hope that the campaign rally does go without any issues.
Colin?
I think it'd be great if what you could see next year, because the organisers say they're going to have this again next year, if you could see a Better Together rally and a Yes rally around about the same weekend, because then you could actually compare. You could compare the marches, and that would be fantastic. That's what we really want. What I'm looking for on Saturday, what would be the highlight for me is, and you saw just a wee bit in David Marsland's report there, if Ian Gray turned up and heckled Sean Clerkin, that would be the highlight for me. Maybe even chased him into a sandwich shop in Princess Street afterwards. I think that would just make it.
Do you think marches like this make a difference, Joan?
I think it's a way of energising people in the campaign, and I think a lot of people will be very energised by it. And I mean, the last time I marched through Edinburgh was for the Make Poverty History. I marched back in 2005, and it was a real family occasion. You know, brought the kids along, and that did make a difference to to the G8 summit as it was then in terms of poverty in the third world. You know, it was a big statement. I mean, this is just the start. This is just the start of the Yes campaign, and it's a way of people coming together and celebrating. I thought it was interesting. There was a poll at the weekend that showed that no matter what people think of independence, whether they haven't made up their mind yet, and a lot of people haven't made up their mind, 67% of Scots think that independence will make them more proud of their country. And I think that's the spirit of this march. You know, it's about, looking forward. It's difficult times just now, but we have hope. We've got this referendum in 2 years' time, and we're looking forward to it, and we're celebrating together.
Mark?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting. You can band about as many statistics as possible there, Joan, but I think for Saturday's rally, it's interesting that, as I was alluding to earlier, it's good that we've got a peaceful rally, hopefully, going ahead on Saturday. Of course, just earlier on in the week, it transpired that there was a banned organisation almost going to be coming onto your march. The Scottish
Republican
Socialist Movement.
There are lots of different groups on the march. If I could go back to the Make Poverty History March, if you remember.
What's your reaction to this group that were going to be involved, Joan?
I think it's two men and a dog, isn't it? I mean, it's just, I don't think they were, they weren't on the platform. They were a very, very small group. But I mentioned the Make Poverty History March, and I think there were some people there that latched on to that march. But nobody remembers that, and nobody thinks that reflects on the vast majority of people that went on that Make Poverty History March. So, I think it's a bit of a red herring, actually. Okay. It's a bit desperate.
Joan. I think, I think desperate would be the fact that your campaign, your rally, would have welcomed them on board on Saturday, had it not been for them being exposed for their actions at the Glencoe rally, for example, spitting, burning the Union flag.
I'm sorry, we're going to have to leave it here. Thank you all very much indeed for joining us in Scotland tonight. Thank you.